Okay, Jesse, I've done it. Why you won't speak away, Jesse? Why?
Why did you put has special needs? Why did you put as you touch it just as special needs? What did you put as a title?
I didn't. Hiya,
Okay.
Demon. Hi, Demon. Hi, Demon. How you doing? Demon, how you doing? Say, Jesse. Hi, Demon.
No, I'm watching.
Yes, say hi, Demon.
It's not here though.
Wait, wait a minute. I'm gonna do something for a minute. Wait up.
Why is Kid turning your light on? We can't see you.
No, don't turn my light on. I'm gonna see me, guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't even reach my light. Can you reach it for me?
No.
Baby boy, wanna do me a story? Oh yeah. Baby boy, wanna see a story voice? You want a story voice? Do you want a story voice, Jesse? Jesse?
What?
You want a story?
No, you do a story. I don't want to do a story.
Yeah, we want to do a story voice. Right. We want a story voice. Once upon a time, in a dark forest, there was this dwarf, and this dwarf had one leg, and he was called One-Legged Dwarf. All the other dwarfs used to laugh at him because he used to waddle funny. They would go, look how funny you look. One day, this dwarf went into this magical forest and he seen this tree. The tree decided to talk to him out of the blue. The tree says to him, "Yo, dwarf, I hear that the other dwarfs are always fucking picking on ya." I sound like fucking, what was his name? Fucking Sulfur Dog. I act like him, yeah. "Yo, dwarf, I hear that all the other fucking dwarfs are picking on you, you know. What are you gonna do about it, yeah? Gonna go to the house and burn their house down? Is that what you're gonna do, dwarf?" He's like, "No, I only got one leg, you know. One leg. The other dwarfs make fun of me because I waddle a lot." "Well, let me tell you now, dwarf. I can make all your problems disappear. All you gotta do for me, dwarf, is one task. You gotta go into the forest, and you gotta go to the other end and collect the apple, and come back and give the apple to me, so I can turn into a human." So the dwarf said, "I accept your challenge." So the dwarf decided to go into the actual forest. But he never knew what was waiting for him at the end of the forest. There were roots. There were tigers. There were wolves. There were birds. There were snakes. And there also was webs and spiders everywhere waiting for him. This dwarf huddled along, unaware of what he was about to see. So it was about 5 minutes into the forest. This actual dwarf seen his first prey. It was a tiger. And the tiger spoke to him. "What you doing in my forest? What you doing in my forest, dwarf man?" And the dwarf says to him, "I need to get to the other end," he said, "to collect the actual apple." He said, "I set you a challenge, dwarf. If you can get past me in 3 tries, I will let you pass." So the dwarf said, "I accept your challenge." So the dwarf tried his best the first time and tried to get past him. He picked his paw up and chucked him to one side. The dwarf got up and tried again. He did exactly the same tactic. He went to the left hand side and the actual tiger swiped him. So the dwarf had imagination and he did something that the actual tiger didn't see him. He basically jumped up on the tiger's head and he jumped off his head and he went behind him, and the tiger looked at him and says to him, "You're free to go." What? No? What? Yeah, well, no, man. What? No, no. No, no. How many people is in the stream?
4.
What? Wait, I need to go off the flag for a minute. I need to think of my next part of the story. Where was I? Jesse?
What?
Where was I at the story? I forgot.
About a dwarf and the foster can when the enormous appears in the darkness of the nightness.
Did the actual tiger kill him?
Yes. Like this white mask appeared, yeah, and then it had a face, yeah, and it said, "I will never forgive, I will never forget."
What? This is a sick
Yes.
fucking story, Jazz. That's a sick story, Jess. And there's this guy in the forest, his name is Foster. He was partying all night. And he was partying all day. And this dwarf with one leg.
This dwarf.
And then Foster set the challenge for this dwarf. He said, "If you could beat my 16-hour stream, I'll let you pass." So the dwarf looked at him and he said, "I accept you a challenge," he said. "I accept your challenge." So the dwarf partied all night.
Tomorrow,
he got drunk.
I'm gonna write myself a scary story and read it out on your stream.
He drank all night, he partied all night, and he decided to go for the last hour. But the actual dwarf fell asleep and he woke up at the last minute, because he was unaware that the actual Foster guy went to the toilet and he tricked him. He said, I beat you 16 hours. The dwarf looked at him and Foster looked at him and said, "You can pass, my friend. You can go closer to the apple tree to collect your apple." Wait, let me just finish this conversation when I'm back, yeah? Foster's gonna love his story.
Okay. It's got the runs. In a dark, deep night, there was a mask of the numinous that keep creeping into the woods, scaring little kids away, doing an anonymous voice. Get out of my woods now. I will curse you, and I will kill you. Don't go back to my woods again. In the dark deep woods, there was a scary voice. Now you're going to die, my precious. You want a balloon, Georgie? Georgie, you want a balloon? You're going to die.
And there he stood. We let him go. He let the dwarf go. And out of the blue, Foster comes out of the forest again. And he says to the dwarf, "You must pass me, but you must drink as many drinks as I drink." And the dwarf says to him, "I have already done one year challenge, Foster." Foster says, "I can do 16 hours and I can drink as many drinks as I can." And this dwarf says to him, "How many drinks can you drink?" And Foster said, "I can drink about 15 to 20 to 30 pints. If you can beat that, you can pass." So the dwarf decides to start drinking, and he gets tipsy. He gets basically he stumbles all over the place. So dwarf basically goes on to his last can, and out of the blue, Foster falls asleep. And he pours the drink out so he doesn't see what actually he does. Foster says to him, "You have beat me. You have beat me. You may pass once again."
In the house.
You may pass once again. So he was once closer to the actual apple tree to collect the apples so he can be human once again. And when he went into the forest, he seen this guy called Carl. Carl was like, you will donate money to me and you will pass." And the dwarf says to him, "You must dance for me like a monkey." So Carl danced like a monkey, and he basically donated £5 to him. So the dwarf passes once again. And then they bumped into Cheryl and Paul. And the dwarf says to Paul, "What is your task?" He said, "You have to listen to us arguing, and you must see Cheryl's breasts to pass." He said, "I cannot see that disgusting breasts." So the dwarf looked, and he seen them arguing for hours on end. It went to 1 hour to 2 hours. The dwarf was getting tired, and then Cheryl showed his breasts, and he said, wow, can I pass now?"
Lemons.
And the dwarf passed. And then he was one closer to it, and then he come to an actual streamer that he never seen before. Crofty. He says to Crofty, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm the man of the mask. I am the god of the playroom." He said, "You are not the god of the playroom, Rise of Rome is. The light rises. But I am. If you can drink as many whiskies as I can and not fall asleep, you may pass, my fellow dwarf." So the dwarf decided to get his first bottle of whiskey and drink it, and he drank it down. He got a little bit tipsy, a little bit funny, and he started dancing around. So Crofty drank his first whiskey bottle. He was fine. So he gave him a second bottle of whiskey, and he drank it. Now at this precise moment they were on a third bottle, and Crofty decided to pass out on the stream. He decided to take his mask off and show the people how ugly he was as an actual person. So the dwarf decided to put the mask back on Crofty because he got scared himself, and he passed Crofty without a silent. He didn't even wake Crofty. He didn't even say nothing to Crofty. He just passed him like he was just nothing. And he grabbed the apple off a tree and he ran all the way back to the actual tree. He gave the apple to the tree and the tree became human again. And he gave the leg back to the dwarf, and the dwarf went back to the actual village, and he never got taken a piss out of ever again. And that's the story about a dwarf that once had a leg and now he got two legs. Where do I get my stories from? That's fucked up, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't even know where I get my stories from, but they fucked up. But they funny, or not?
It was alright.
What?
It was okay, I said.
What do we make a story up about now, Jess? And I can make any story up you want.
I don't wanna make a story.
No, what do you want me to make a story up about?
A story about disabilities.
Story about a disability?
Disabilities, yeah, disabilities.
Once upon a time, there was this baby that got born on April the 15th, 1965. This baby was called Jessie.
Yes.
She was born with difficulty problems, and she was born with speech impediment, whatever you call it. When this baby Jessie grew up, many friends of hers didn't like her because she was funny, hilarious, and the people around her decided to go elsewhere. So one day, Jessie decides to buy herself a PlayStation when she turned 15 years old. She didn't really have no friends in life but the people online. Jessie didn't really realise the people online was the people that was making fun of her. And she realised at the end of it who her real friends were. It was very hard for Jessie to make friends online and to trust people online. People would say lies to her and deceive her as a person. And then she found a person online called Lightrise. And Lightrise was her only friend. And other friends would come into her life and say bad things about her, and she'd always turn to Lightrise for advice. Not many people would understand Jessie, but Lightrise understood her very well. Lightrise would never harm her as a person, never disrespect her as a person. But many people would say some bad things to her in parties. And many people will basically make her understand that Lightrise was a bad person. But he wasn't a bad person at the end of the day. He was trying to help her as a person anyway. One day, Lightrise started to broadcast that personally for actual Jessie to understand what actual broadcasting was all about, and for her to sit there to take her abuse off the people for a reason. He didn't do it to spite her, he did it to basically make her understand what kind of people are out there in the world. She took offence to her at the actual precise moment when I started the broadcast. People would say nasty things to her, and then she would go off, switch herself offline. And then one day, I told her that she didn't have to take the people's words for her. She would basically have to understand that these people are just trolling her and saying things to her for a reason to make her feel bad as a person. I tried to break it down for her very, very small for her to understand what I meant by her. People would say some nasty ass shit to her, and she takes offence to her. People would say she's a Down syndrome, a dribbler, the lot. When she realised what I meant, she understood what I was saying. She has to stand that the only friend that she's got is me, and I will always be there for her and always understand her to the day that I die. But these people that will say bad things about me as a person and she's reading it, never take offence to what they are saying. Just listen to what I'm saying, because these people are only saying what they are saying to harm her as a person. They would get her in a party and make excuses up about me as a person, but she's been around me long enough to understand that I'm not that kind of person. And she understands that. She always listens to my broadcast and watch them every single day. If somebody says that Ryza said this about you, Ryza said that about you, she can always be in my broadcast and view it to witness it for herself. So you have to understand one thing. Never listen to these people. Listen back at my broadcast and you will see that the truth will be there. But if you're gonna continue listening to these people are gonna can control you for the rest of your life. Disability is not a thing to make fun of at the end of the day. Everyone is born with a disability. Young, old, wherever. Disability is something that can be cured. Some disabilities can be cured through tablet form. It's not their fault that they were born different. Some people are born normal but act different. Some people are born with difficulty problems but act normal, because they can see different things that other people can't see. They can feel things that other people can't see. Like Jessie. Jessie is really protective of certain people. A normal person doesn't care about other people but themselves. They always take a piss out of people because they don't know how to do nothing else. That's my story about a disability person.
Yes, thanks. Yes, that was a story. Story time. Story.
I want to tell you a story about a clock. No, seriously, I'm going to tell you a story about a clock. And I'm going to tell you a story about a human. All in one. This is going to be a really interesting story that I'm going to make up. It's going to be a made up story, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. When a baby is born, it's a beautiful thing to see. You brought that actual baby into this world by yourself. A mother has developed a baby in her stomach for 9 months, and she finally made birth, and she's created a beautiful human boy or girl. When a baby's born, the clock is ticking. What I mean by ticking is, that baby is dying as soon as he's born. He turns 1 year old, turns 2 years old, turns 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When he's 10 years old, his clock has been ticking for a long time. So he's lived on this planet for 10 years. So he's got basically another 30 years until he turns 40. Right? Now that kid is going to make best of his life. He's got to do the right in his life to make what he wants in life. He could become a businessman. He could become a millionaire. He could become whatever he wants in life, depending which path he chooses. But me and you, we can't tell our kid what his future is going to be. We can watch his future grow, but we can't tell him what to do in life. It's entirely up to him which path he takes. And this is what I don't like on this situation, this system. People are telling people which path to take and how to live their life. It's not for me to judge them as a person. It's not for you to judge them as a person. Let them do what they want to do in life. If you were going to judge these people and tell them that what to do in life and disrespect them as a person, your clock is ticking. Your clock is ticking. While you're wasting your time with that person, right? That person is making something of himself. It could be 10, 15, 30, an hour, 2 hours in somebody's stream. You're still wasting your life in that actual stream, concentrating on that person. Like now, there's 5 people in my stream. Kind of you're wasting your time in my stream, right? You could be doing something better with your life, right? Genuine truth. But when you think about it, it's your time, it's your clock is ticking, not mine. My clock is ticking for my time, and it's your clock is ticking in your time. You could be having an heart attack at this moment when I'm speaking to you. You could be dying when I'm speaking to you. But your last views was looking at me, telling you this story. Right? I don't really mind at the end of the day, because it's your time that you're wasting. I don't mind at all. It doesn't really bother me one bit. This is what I'm trying to say to you people when you sit in my stream 24 hours a day. It doesn't really bother me what you say, what you do. It doesn't really bother me. Because I know anything could happen to you at any time. Simple. So I'm on the last laugh at the end of the day, not you. And that's a story about a little boy that grew up doing what he wanted in life, and his time was ticking. He grew up being what he wanted to be, and grew up what he wanted to say. He didn't, nobody judged him, nobody told him what to do. But he became famous off the things that he knew. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Don't judge people. Don't have a go at people. Don't waste your time with me. Because when you're wasting your time with me, you could be dying. You could be having an heart attack. Simple. Genuine truth. I'm sorry for telling you a powerful story, but it's the truth.
It's true. Yes, it's true.
And I just made that up off the top of my head. But that story was 100% true. When you call people names and you say to them they're a scumbag and you're going to come to their house and you're going to basically burn their house down and you're going to torture them as a family, that's not my time you're wasting, it's your own time you're wasting. I don't care. Like I said, your clock is ticking. Waste your own time doing the bad things that you want to do. I be doing the good times. I be doing the good things while you're doing the bad things. Simple. I ain't gonna worry about you, because my clock is ticking the right way. Your clock is ticking the bad way. Simple. I don't care what people say to me. I've gone to the point I physically don't care. 100%. I've gone to the point in my life that I really don't give a fuck about no one. No one. You guys made me like this. I never used to be like this. I don't give a shit about fucking no one. Simple. Genuine truth. I don't. Does it make me a bad person? Not really. It makes me human. Do you want to hear a story about a boy who once killed himself?
Yes.
What did that guy say in my stream, Jesse?
I don't know.
You really are a reckless other. This reckless kids. I am so glad my boy made so much something of himself. If I would hate him to be this position in life. Sad little boy, why don't you go get a life instead of making stories that
Great final girl.
Why would I want to get a life and make stories up? I only make stories up to entertain you guys. I already told you, you're wasting your time in my stream saying the stories that you're saying. So I want to thank you for giving your time in my stream, because I know your time is ticking. Simple. Make as many comments as you want, because I know you're wasting your time. What?